Hello, hello, and welcome. Today's video is going to be a clarinet lesson. We're going to be focusing on Beethoven's Ninth with a few warm-ups. But first, make sure when you set up your instrument, make sure your reed is in the right place. Make sure it's level. Make sure it's moist enough. And when you start playing, make sure that you tighten up your lips right over here. Try to avoid playing like this. Right, where you kind of blow your cheeks out. But rather keep your lips tight and tuck in your bottom lip here. We're going to start with a warm-up. We're going to do a warm-up routine. We're going to start from C all the way to A. All right, C, D, E, F, G, and A. And then we'll go backwards. We'll practice it with a metronome. One, two, ready, go. Good. Now let's try the same pattern, but with quarter notes rather. Here we go. One, two, ready, go. Good. Make sure if you get a lot of squeaks, try to troubleshoot what the problem may be. Sometimes if we don't cover the holes correctly, you will get a squeak. If you could take a look at there. All right. Sometimes if your fingers are not completely on, you see that there are a couple of leaks there. That will also cause a few squeaks. Okay. Also make sure that your left hand is not touching any of the side keys there as well. Okay. All right. I'm going to run through Beethoven's Ninth as best as I can with the metronome for those who can play the song, and you could play along with the recording. And then after I play through that, we'll rehearse section by section. Here we go. One, two, ready. "21, 22, 23, 24, get ready, go. 26, 2, 27, go. 29. Good. So let's practice the first four measures. The first four measures. E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, E, E, F, G, F, E. It's the first four measures. Try that again. Now, let's look at measure 5. Let's practice saying the notes and playing the notes. Measure 5. E, E, F, G, G, F, E, G, E, E, G, 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 G. So we're going to practice from measure 5 to measure 8. Now, measure 5 through measure 8 is the same thing as measure 9 through measure 12. So it's 4-measure phrase repeated twice. Let's practice that. From measure 5 all the way to measure 12. Okay, now measure 13. It's a whole note. So you're going to have a series of whole notes, half notes, and then quarter notes. So if you take a look at measure 13 through measure 17, it's going to have a whole note G, then half notes, quarter notes, and quarter notes again. So measure 13, open G. Okay, now if you take a look at measure 16, E, D, F. Notice how I keep my fingers very close. And then measure 17 is G, G, A, G. Now, if I put those together, 16 and 17, sorry. Sometimes you want to practice one measure at a time and then 2 measures at a time till you feel comfortable with it, and then you can start putting more measures together. So we'll take it from measure 13 through 17. Let me look at it this way. Okay, so now let's focus on measure 18 through measure 20. All right, measure 18 are A's. A, E, E, F, G, F, E. Look at measure 18. I'll play that again. Now measure 13 all the way to measure 20. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 13, and... try that again. I messed up a little bit myself. From measure 13 to measure 20. And it's also important to make sure you practice a little bit a day to build up these muscles here. Measure 13 to measure 20. 1, 2, ready, go. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27. All right, let's analyze that again. Very, very simple. Measure 25. E, E, F, G. Then you rest for a measure, and then measure 27 is almost the same thing, but then it goes back down. E, E, F, E. Okay? And then the measures that you have rest, like measures 26 and measure 28. Different instruments will be playing in those measures. Okay, so it's also important to use your ears. Okay, let's look at measure 29. Measure 29 through measure 36 is the same thing as measure 17. So it's just kind of a recycled pattern. Okay, so let's take a look at measure 29. G, G, A, G, A, E, E, F, G, F, E. Okay, 29. Now measure 33. That one's a little bit different. It's half notes. G, 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 E, F, F. And then 37 is another recycled pattern. All right, let's take a measure 33. All right, good. So make sure when you're practicing Beethoven's Ninth or any of your band music, try to say the notes and then play the notes. So you're training your brain and training your mind and your eyes to realize what the notes are, and then your fingers will start making the connections to where it lies in your instrument. So that's the key. So you can do 1, 2 measures at a time, then maybe 4 measures at a time. You say the first 4 measures, and then you go and you play it. And then you work on a different section. And then once you have a handle on it and you kind of mastered it, then you can go back into the beginning of the video and you can play along with the metronome, playing along, doing the whole thing. And that's a good way to practice. Also, make sure when you practice, make sure that you do the warm-ups. Try not to play your band music cold. Try to get the warm-ups to get your breathing going, troubleshoot some of the maybe the squeaky problems that you may have, or just to kind of loosen up your embouchure and your chops, as they call it. Okay? So, happy practicing. I hope this is informative. Thank you.